The ups and downs of show business can be daunting for even the most successful performers. So it's pretty impressive to see someone thrive in a relatively small, specialized field of the performing arts. For one man born and raised here, life is a cabaret.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome home Craig Pomranz.
Something started crazy, sweet and unknown. Something you keep in a box on the street, now it's longing for a home.
To fully appreciate Craig Pomranz, don't think of him as a singer, despite those silky tenor tones. Better to think of him as a storyteller.
To substitute the knowledge of what you're telling and the story for vocal pyrotechnics that's not singing.
Pomranz's appearance at the Kranzberg Arts Center in February of 2011 was a cabaret show inspired by Valentine's Day.
What is this thing called love? This funny thing called love.
As a child, Pomranz said he used singing as a way to cope with shyness. He sang in his family's synagogue and attended acting classes held in the basement of the Tropicana bowling lanes in Richmond Heights. That training paid off when Pomranz was encouraged to audition for the Muni.
I remember doing Camelot and Tornadoes.
That production of Camelot starred Broadway legend John Cullum, and the young Pomranz apparently made a good impression.
He had come up to me and he said, you know, they're doing a play on Broadway, and I would like to talk to your parents about taking you to New York, your picture to New York, to see if you could audition for the replacement of the boy on Broadway, which my parents said no.
He would eventually make New York home, but first there was school. Pomranz went to high school at Ladue.
The music and the theater was very serious. They took it very seriously. We put on this is like pre-Glee, and yet we were very much like that.
I did.
Karen Lamberg of Creve Coeur performed in summer stock with Pomranz when they were teenagers.
We did Babes in Arms, I think was the one that I remember with him. My sister's friends with him on Facebook, and she was the one that told me he was coming to St. Louis. It was fabulous. I mean, it's weird to look up there and see the teenager up there singing.
I know this crazy world has taken on a wonderful design.
Pomranz's college years were spent at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. When he moved to the Big Apple with scholarships from 2 professional dance companies, Pomranz was more fortunate than many aspiring performers forced to wait tables to pay the bills.
I've always been able to work in my field, which is a blessing for me. I have been dancing cans in commercials. What it is the struggle in the beginning, at least for me, was the path. To know if I was really all I went to New York for was to be an actor, and everyone at university wanted me to go to LA because they said, oh, you should be in TV, and I was like, no, I'm a serious theater person. I like $1 million. So I went to New York and I did a lot of theater. I started earning money doing commercials and modeling and voiceovers and singing. And singing sort of just took off. But again, taking off in a small genre.
Cuddle up a little closer. Lovey mine.
As a cabaret singer with a gift for connecting with audiences, Pomranz quickly became a favorite in Manhattan nightclubs.
That's the wonderful thing about cabaret and saloon singing and clubs in general. It's all about that kind of intimacy. So if I can make an evening intimate, and if I can share, and if people can take, and I mean that's what it's about. And people often, I think they want that. I mean, I think people need it personally, but I think people really want it, and I think sometimes they're afraid, but then they come and they're just willing to, they're sponges, and they just like listen and they take it all in, and then it dredges up all these other stuff in them that makes them happy and sad and whatever. And I mean, a lot of it's very funny, I hope, too.
There is nothing like a break. Oh, that's not
But there's nothing funny about the pressures associated with life in show business. At one point, Pomranz stepped back from performing in front of audiences and chose instead to focus on studio work as both a singer and a voiceover artist in commercials. His ability to maintain a balance in an unstable profession might be attributed to his St. Louis roots.
I'm from here. I think Forest Park is much prettier than Central Park.
Pomranz makes regular visits to his hometown on holidays and other occasions and keeps in close touch with family and friends. His advice to local performers considering a move to the East or West Coast is to maintain a positive attitude amid the inevitable rejections by producers and casting directors.
Try not to pigeonhole yourself. Try not to be frightened of the things that are working for you. Know who you are and try and know who you live with as yourself, and try and work with what you do because that's the best thing you have to offer. That's intrinsic to what people will see that will want to hire you.
Meet me in St. Louis, Louis. Meet me at the fair.
Pomranz works to make the most of his versatility. He hopes one day to add producer of musicals to his list of credits. He's on a journey that includes constant opportunities to learn, evolve, and enjoy the ride.
I see myself singing always. The world is my oyster, as they say. I mean, you got to keep your hands in all these things and keep going. The path, I'm just following the path. It's an interesting path.
Give me